ध्वजा अभ्रभेदी रथ पे, देखो वो है आए बाहर के पथ पे। खोल के ध्वजा अभ्रभेदी रथ पे, देखो वो है आए बाहर के पथ पे। देखो वो देखो वो है आए बाहर के पथ पे। खोल के ध्वजा अभ्रभेदी रथ पे, देखो वो है आए बाहर के पथ पे।
Namaskar and hello to everyone. Thanks to all of you for your cooperation and faith on our web series of Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee and on our channel National Icon. Now, as we want to spread the die-hard contribution of Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee both before and after independence, so we need the help of our viewers to spread it to the general mass of India as much as possible, to bring out the ultimate truth and his devotion towards India as a nationalist hero.
The declaration of the transfer of power escalated more tension among the two major parties at that point in time, that is, in between Indian National Congress and the Muslim League. The Muslim League was fighting the election in 1945 and 46 across India, and even though they had a majority or kind of majority in Punjab, they were not able to win the elections in Punjab. However, the Indian National Congress got most of the seats across the Hindu majority areas. And as because the Muslim League didn't get the coveted state of Punjab, they tried to use some other power of the constitutional areas.
Shuravarti had underestimated the Bengali Hindus, considering them to be meek, and thought that he and his hoodlums can terrorize the Hindus into leaving Kolkata. But with the Hindu majority refusing to give in, firing back and forcing Shuravarti's men to retreat, his plan failed totally. During and post the great Calcutta Killings, that the Hindus started regaining confidence and faith in Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee and the Hindu Mahasabha as the savior of the Hindus. Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee's acumen, leadership and dedication towards the cause of the Hindus bore fruit. He, in his series of interactions with the Hindu community, reminded them of the brutal killings on 1946 and how the Muslim majority government of Bengal, now affiliated to the Muslim League, failed to protect their lives and property. He even succeeded in getting the Congress to join hands with him for the welfare of the Hindus.
Another characteristics of Calcutta's Muslim population was that it was largely composed of poor people, mostly artisans, factory workers, rickshaw pullers, and domestic servants. The Muslim middle class in Calcutta was small in contrast to the much larger Hindu middle class. Big Muslim, merchant, and capitalist were few and could not compete with the rich Marwari Hindus. Although Muslims were clearly a minority in Calcutta and occupied a peripheral position in the economic, social and cultural life of the city, the capital was the only largest city in the province and therefore occupied a privileged position in all provincial politics. Whether Muslim or Hindu, Suhrawardi had a particularly large following amongst the poor Muslim of the city and was also rumored to have close link to Muslim underworld, which played a significant role in the parallel economy based on smuggling, gambling and prostitution which flourished in the great port city. Jinnah had called for peaceful demonstration all over India on Direct Action Day, and most of India, including the Muslim majority province of Punjab and Sindh. In the later, the Muslim League was a part of coalition government, remained calm. In Bengal, however, and especially in Calcutta, the event took a violent turn and quickly spun completely out of control.
That it took too long to realize the extent of the trouble and call the troops in when things had already gotten out of hand. An earlier intervention by the military might have been able to save the day. To these reproaches, Barrow's answer was that he could not have prevented Suhrawardi from interfering without triggering a major political crisis with country-wide repercussions at a particularly delicate moment. That he called the troops in as soon as he had enough of them available to make a difference.
Given the country, which is India, which had a long history of communal violence since 1926, there was an expectation that the violence will happen and might escalate in several parts of the country. Though there were a large number of British troops present across the country, there was a kind of resentment that it will not happen. But somehow the 1946 violence triggered and flared up the whole situation in a different direction altogether, which literally created spiral violence across the country.
In a paradoxical way, one could say that on the one hand, the great Calcutta killing is very much an object of living memory. Narratives are handed down from one generation to another within practically all the families who lived through it. On the other hand, it is the conspicuously absent from the official memory of Bengal, particularly on the West Bengal side, but also in a more surprising way on the Bangladeshi side. The disjunction between private memory and public An official memory is not unique to this particular event. This disjunction occurs with most traumatic events. For example, the Holocaust in the immediate post-war period before the outset of the era of commemoration in the 1960s is a case in point.
So guys, the conclusion of this piece that I have actually delivered today. So basically what exactly happened right at that part of time, which I have just described right on this video. So the conclusion that was that youngest generation don't know about the contribution of Dr. Mukherjee in the freedom movement. However, in history books has never mentioned about the contribution of Dr. Mukherjee's. The Congress government never gave recognition as he deserves. He joined the Hindu Mahasabha in 1939 and he became a president in 1944. When the famine of Bengal arrived in 1943, organized a large scale of relief work. When MA, that was Muhammad Jinnah, introduced the two-nation theory by dividing India and creating Pakistan, Mr. Mukherjee opposed with tooth and nail. So this was basically the conclusion. That means again, you can know right that how this history things has actually played, because this books never mentioned what exactly his contribution was there during this Indian freedom movement, and that's the reason right that younger generation doesn't know that what kind of contribution he did and what. So that's all from my end today, guys. Thank you so much.